for some of you, this may be a little of a jump into a new technology with Power Automate, but we're going to walk through in several videos here over the next month or so. I'm going to walk you through some basic tips and tricks on how to build an effective Power Automate automation for your environment. And we're going to start at the basics and work our way through. And by the way, all of these documents are available at Microsoft, so you can download these and read them yourself as well. But I'm going to walk you through each one. So let's go ahead and jump right to it. So the first place we want to start is to open up Power Automate itself. So go inside of your new, inside of your Office 365 environment. Click on your waffle there and go to Power Automate. And now we're here on Create. And what we're going to do is we're going to create an automated cloud flow. And this is a flow that we're actually creating. Now this one, if you look at store and manage values in variables, if you Google that, you're going to find a Microsoft document that kind of walks you through everything I'm walking you through here, plus gives you a lot more details. So check that out if you want. But this is a really down and dirty, easy way for you to get comfortable and started using variables. And why do we need variables? Because variables add a lot to a process flow. We can store information and then pass it on inside other steps. So let's see how that's done. This first item here, and you can add these to your Power Automate. This is when a new email arrives. So I haven't changed any of the names here, but I put in here the comments what we're doing. So we're going to check for new email and attachments in our inbox. So we're going to wait till email comes into our inbox and we're going to look for an attachment. We're going to run this sample at the end of the video. I'm going to actually show you this in action. So stay tuned for that. So there's one thing that we need to do on this screen. First of all, you need to add this. To add it, you're going to click on new step there, type in this. When a new email arrives, V3, click on it, you're going to be right here. And we're looking in the inbox. Now, which inbox is it? Well, if you click on these three dots right here, you're going to know. There it is right there. That's the inbox it's going to look at. All right. So we can change that connection, by the way, by adding a new connection. But we're just going to keep it there. We want to click on the show advanced options. And what we want to do is we want to do include attachments and only with attachments. So that means that when an email arrives with an attachment, this flow is going to start. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is initialize a variable. And what we want this variable to do is to do a count. But we want to start the count at 0. So we've entered in our name here, count, and we can give it any name that we want. I just happen to use count. And here in the type, notice there's an integer. There's all types of different information here. We're going to work with many of these as we go through some of these videos. But right here, we're just going to click on integer, and we're going to set the value to 0. So that means that I'm going to initialize the variable called count, and I'm going to initialize it with a value of 0. I'm going to show you why here in a minute. Now we're going to add this apply to each. Remember, just going to click on here, add a new step. And what we're looking for is outputs from the attachments. Remember, we were here, we're looking at attachments. So we're looking at attachments. I'm just going to click in that box and I'm going to go down and I'm going to find attachments, which happens to be at the bottom there. You can search for it under dynamic content. Okay. And remember, if you click on here and you can't see everything, use this elevator bar to go up and down. All right. So, apply to each. We're going to click on there. And remember, if you can't see everything, don't be caught there. Just kind of remove this around and you can see more. Okay. So here we're going to do attachments, and then we're going to do an incremental variable. And what this is going to do is it's going to loop through the email message. So notice it kind of looks like a loop. It's going to loop through the email message. It's going to use this variable count. Remember, we initialized this variable count here as an integer with a 0 count. And every single time it sees an attachment on the email, it's going to count 1. Okay, it's going to give it a value of 1. And so we're going to run the test here with an attachment, and then you can see how it actually works. And then here, We just want to send the email to this email address. We could put any email address. Notice this is outside of my tenant, right? My tenant being Technology Milestones and Lush Advisors. This is an MSN. We're just going to put in here test variables. We can type in anything we want. And now I want to take this variable count is what I want to add. So I just clicked on there, and notice here, because I know what the name of the variable is, I'm just going to do it there, and I'm going to click on it. Notice the X, okay? That means that it is a variable. And remember, that variable is this variable right here, count. So let's go ahead and see this bad boy in action. So we're going to type in Jeffrey Lush. We want it sent to this one right here, because that's where our trigger is. And we're going to assign, we're going to attach some files. So let's just go ahead and put one of them in there. Okay, a pterodactyl. And then we're going to put in a heron. Frightening how much they look similar, huh? Okay, so we're going to just put in here test for attachments. Okay, and that's all we're going to do. And then we're going to hit send. We don't have to put anything else in. We're going to send it over to here. Oh, let's send it from a different email address. Let's send it from this one. So we'll send it from my Gmail over to Technology Milestones. Now we can see that the Gmail actually delivered the email, and we have those two images there. But let's go over, so this is in the Technology Milestones, right? It arrived. And now, I don't know if you just saw that move from 87, you probably heard it go ding. So let's go over there and click on there. And there it is, test variable. Now, this is the email message that we drafted right here. Let me move this off to the side a little bit. And so we did it right here. Remember, we told it to count and add a 1 for every time it found an email attachment. Notice here the number of attachments in the email are 2. And sure enough, if we look at the attachments, there are 2 attachments. So that's as easy as it is to create your first flow using variables. Now, why is this important to understand? Because now that you understand that this is a trigger, we've entered some form of a variable, we've created a loop to process that variable. Yes, very simple, but nevertheless very effective. And then we distributed that information here. Now we can get creative and build all types of other variables and flows that meet our business needs.